Okay, I'm going to cover an issue here that seems to be an issue with certain airbrushes. The one airbrush that I use on just about everything is the Iwata Eclipse HPCS. I have several of these. They're great airbrushes, but for some reason, after about a month or so of use, paint starts backing up in the airbrush, and when paint gets past that seal in your airbrush, which is called the backing seal, and gets inside the trigger mechanism and the air valve, it becomes a real problem. So I'm just going to cover that issue and how to fix that issue, because what happens with these airbrushes is either throughout time and use, the needle packing, which is a screw with an O-ring seal, either gets worn in or it gets loose. Either way, if paint is backing up into your airbrush and the seal itself isn't damaged, you'll have to know how to adjust that seal, that needle packing, so that it alleviates the problem. Otherwise, you're going to run into a headache every time you try to airbrush. So yeah, let's cover that real quick. To get to this seal, you have to break your airbrush down, okay? And if you look down through the body of the airbrush, your light, you will see what looks to be a flat-headed screw with a hole through it. That's the needle packing, okay? And it's very touchy. If you over tighten this, your airbrush won't work. The needle, if you over tighten this, the needle, the spring that pushes the needle forward will not have enough force to get it past that O-ring. Conversely, if it's too loose, you're going to end up with space around that needle packing the needle, which is going to allow paint to back up into your airbrush. So if it's backing up into your airbrush already, you want to break your airbrush down, and you need a flat-headed screw, okay? And you feel around in there, the screwdriver, the blade of the screwdriver will lock into the screw, and what you want to do is just turn it to the right about, get on it there, a quarter or an eighth of a turn. That's it. Okay? Now you can put your guide back together so you don't damage your needle, or you can just play it real steady like this and get that needle down in there. And what you want to do is you just want to feel, okay, you push that needle down through there like this. I turn that needle packing literally an eighth of a turn, and that's too tight. There's no way this will work. Okay, so pop that back out and get that back in there again, and we're gonna back this off like a 1/16 of a turn. Okay. Okay. There we go. Okay. You want a little bit of tension you'll want to feel a tiny bit of drag, but not much. I'm literally going to back this off just a hair. And it should be perfect. Okay, that's perfect. Now, what I have here is we've got a little bit of tension. But the needle still is able to move back and forth quite easily. Okay? So now you just put your airbrush back together and see what happens. If you put it back together and you still get paint into the back body of the airbrush, you'll either need to tighten the seal up, or you may want to order a replacement seal, seeing that it may be damaged.